there is an element to sound therapy in most circles where there is a sacred connection. And this is something which is, I find, something that I want to specialize more and more into. Simply because we've taken the sacred out of modern life, and I feel like we've done that at our peril. It's not causing any proselytization here. It's not about having any kind of faith or diving into some kind of religion. It's not about any kind of hierarchy. It's really just about the core essence of what it is to focus on something grander than what's happening in the immediate vicinity of a person. And it's often that space of context, looking at the grander picture and being able to step back and being able to really experience what's happening in your world and listening on a more grander level, on a more global level, that can allow a person to start to access a different kind of inspiration, an inspiration that can help them overcome their problems without being so fixated on the shoulds and what such and such is doing, and I need to be making this kind of salad. It brings us back to the fundamentals. I approach sound therapy in a way that allows me to use more instruments than what you normally see from most sound therapists. And I feel that it's important because I truly believe that these instruments are a reflection of life itself. It's the reason why we create these instruments in the first place, is that they carry a certain message that tunes us into a certain spectrum, part of the spectrum of life. The spectrum of sound reflects life and vice versa. And so if you're looking, for example, at these low frequency instruments, the drum, the didgeridoo, the gongs, the ones that make you feel like you're kind of entering the body, they have a very physical kind of response that they create. They're the more powerful ones that you can experience on a physical level. People who are dealing with physical issues, for example, or blockages, may be drawn to those types of instruments. Then there's instruments that are the very high-pitched instruments that are bells, chimes, wind instruments, wind chimes, delicate instruments. These types of instruments have a higher frequency, and so the idea is that the experience of the higher frequencies also reflects the higher spectrums. And so we're dealing with the head and the thoughts, and clearing the thoughts and getting into a place where you can kind of feel like your head is clear, that you can kind of go back to what you need to do. And then there are the more atypical instruments, which I feel are such a big part of sound healing that are being ignored by most sound therapists. And these are the instruments that are the more melodic, the more compositional instruments, the more types of instruments that you normally see at a concert. Most of society is driven by these instruments. Strings, guitar, the voice, flutes. These instruments have a real power over the emotions. They have a capacity to get the emotions into a clearer place, and they typically evoke a lot of emotion. need to be able to navigate these different spectrums of life at any point. Any situation that occurs, we're going to have to be able to respond to. Some people can't stand certain parts of life. They can't hang out in those areas. They can't hang out in the physical space, maybe because they experienced something traumatic and they shut out of themselves, and so that process of coming back to the body may be difficult. And maybe there's ways in which using more physical sounds can help guide them in, or maybe there are people who are stuck in the feeling space. Their emotions get the better of them, or they're not able to feel enough. They cut themselves off from their emotions. And so, allowing them to come into that space where they can dive in to a type of experience that can allow those emotions to come to the surface can be hugely beneficial for them. Some people are brainiacs and brilliant, and their heads are where they hang out. We all know those types of people. I worked with them for many years when I worked in Washington D.C. and that was how I valued myself too. How much information I knew and how smart I could be, and trying to be the smartest person in the room was my job. And if there was anything I missed and anything that I didn't cover, then I would feel pretty inadequate because of that. So that brings a concentration up here, and maybe there's some things in which can allow that concentration to smooth itself out and feel at ease with coming back into these other parts of the spectrum. When you start to listen on that broad level, you can then start to pay attention to how you fit with that music of life. What is your particular way of adding to the composition of life around you? Where is your particular music, and how does it blend harmoniously with the world around you? And it can require you to make some big decisions. Maybe it will require you to change a lot of things in your